Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to Bethany. And this
Welcome,
is
Bethany.
the Dark of Bethany. This is our. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. And this is the last episode of season 5. It, as is always the case, has been a very long road getting to here. Now, the Coterie has had its ups, its downs, its lower than downs. They have inadvertently uncovered, kicked over, and disturbed plans that have taken decades to commence. They have joined forces with powers beyond this world. They have risked everything that they are, directly, indirectly, and simply by happenstance, to get to where they are. They have been pawns, checkers, unwanted playing cards, and various other stand-ins for the games at play in the halls. All of their experiences thus far have gotten them to this moment. And it is a defining moment. Whether they will be here in the after to reconstruct the rubble into some place of their design, or will they be mourned as the greatest of villains or the greatest of victors? Fate has yet to decide. It is literally casting lots as we speak as to what becomes Vanabo, India, Joji, and Lita. The chorus of angels who keep an eye on the world around them on the night that never ends are waiting with bated breath to paint the picture as to where we are with these inimitable heroes of our worst angel's heart. They are in the literal lap of luxury, the most luxurious open for the public suite imaginable, in the casino here in Shreveport, at a place where the elements of air, water, and land combine, at a place of power high above the concerns or considerations of all of the lesser individuals who spend lifetimes of money on the cast of a die, the roll of a ball around a roulette wheel, picking a number of chance at Keno or Faro, in a world that very few have had the opportunity of even knowing exists. In this luxury, soaked in the finest, highest alcohol content liquor possible. It's soaking into the carpet, splashed across the walls, dashed across their persons by simply walking in, and it wells up and splatters and splashes as they move through the carpeted floors, soaking into the walls and perfuming the air with the moldering scent of inebriation that they can no longer take part in. Into this bacchanalia of excess. In the bathroom just off the main room, Joji and a stone guardian of the prince's will are touchably close to an improvised explosive device. It is no expected vest with a timer and a clock. No, that's the one thing missing from the sheer volume of explosive potential at the ready. In the main room, splattered with the alcohol and liquor, is India. In that same room are the other stone guardians and Annabelle, and Lita, and most direly, the prince. The prince who has ruled here as one of the few Tremere princes in the contiguous United States. His limbs, literally from the elbow to his fingertips, growing in heat. There is a palpable intensity growing from within him as he entered, expecting to have those here at his mercy, willing to respect the title of princedom, willing to understand and potentially become his agents, because they have done the unthinkable. They have beaten the house. Instead, he finds what he believes is an assassination attempt and responds in kind. Not the expected cowering, pleading, or machinations that is expected of the Tremere. No, he responds in kind. Choose to kill me and I will ensure that everything about you ends here. And channeling old magic, channeling powers from beyond this world, mastered, pleaded with, and manipulated for decades, he summons the might and spirit of fire itself into his person, in preparation of ending those who would have the audacity, the unmitigated gall. And as that wafts off of him, that pride, that vainglory, the mirrors lining the southern wall of the suite. In fact, what is the southern wall? The floor to ceiling mirrors ripple and dance, but not just the cast off heat of the prince's actions, but the residual magic summoned here by the Coterie, by their patron saint of destruction of the Tremere, by their ignoble, once captured demon. That energy still resounding in the space, having consecrated this place as a temple to Mirrori, now on the verge of destruction. With all of those large, vainglorious, bright, bombastic displays of power in the offing, we step into the life and times of the House Figs, Bethany. Bethany, which is miles away, galaxies removed from where we are presently. Bethany, which sits as a watchtower city to Shreveport, a guardian to the powers at play in Shreveport, the home of this coterie, who are, for lack of a better word, preparing to win it all or lose it all on the toss of a die.
Yeah. I think that is more accurate than it can be in most situations.
That is for
Although,
some...
I've had great result in dice games recently, so I look forward to this.
At least one of us is.
Hey, you can take some of my luck.
I
Yeah,
mean,
anyways.
no.
I suppose, getting into it.
Are there any considerations, hypotheses, or corners we have yet to round off before we dive in with both feet and submerge ourselves in the reality of what Bethany has experienced?
Now, something that India mentioned that I wanted to ask a question about, because in my head, I personally wouldn't, were I designing a building, but she asked if there were any windows in the bathroom.
Unfortunately, that is not a typical thing, especially here in the South. There's a bit of modesty at play. Now, if you were along the Rue Byrne down there in New Orleans, where being a little more relaxed and released, there would be a chance that there would be a lovely French-style window opening onto sounds of the street, where you can hear the jazz, where you can hear the life and times of what happens out there. Here in Shreveport is far more Texas than Louisiana. Even though it is in Louisiana, there's a modesty and a bigness. So unfortunately, there's no mirror in the restroom. It is marbled tile and rainfall showers, glass doors to allow the steam to build and slick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, India, once I get out of my shower, I cannot power stance to the major body of of Shreveport.
There is, however, a mirror.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But
don't
yeah,
worry
that was-
about the mirror. It'll be broken
worry.
with your cranium soon.
That's likely.
Well, that's the end of my questions, I suppose.
I guess my question
Mm.
ties into that. Are the gargoyles independently acting, or do they have a a set mission in mind, i.e., protect the prince? Like, if we directly threaten the prince, are they going to break off anything else they might be doing to rescue the prince, or are they still able to act independently and do other things?
Based on how they swarmed into the room like a detail protecting the president of these United States or the president of France, you are safe to assume that they are acting independent, meaning that they would tactically decide what's the best course of action. While operating as a team, there is clear that there is more experience in trusting each other to do their job than there are with most average persons. One of the sad things about what the gargoyles actually are, even within kindred society, is that they are slaves. They are slaves because they have been broken so inimitably that even in their very blood is a bent towards compulsory action to those they serve. Yes, they'll be in the corner whispering amongst themselves and talking about how much they despise the Jameer, how much they despise how they got here. But when their Lord and Master needs them, because he has an itch right in that spot you can't reach, no matter how easily and flexible you are, right there in the middle of your black, they are right there with their stone fingers itching that spot. Even as much as they hate them. Their Lord and Master sitting 6 inches out of reach of the remote, not willing to lean over and stretch that additional inch, not willing to get up and get there. Calling them to service has them immediately responding in the most tactical way that they are able to make sure that they receive their remote. The sad thing about the gargoyles, and the reason why, partially, the reason why the Camarilla, why the body elect sought to remove them, not just because they are very much a walking, flying, soaring, pounding kindred into mush masquerade breach, but their existence is an affront to the Samich. Their existence is an affront to the Ganger. Their existence is an affront to Nosferatu. Because each and every last one of them that were created through those long forgotten dark arts is a broken, joined thing of each of those bloodlines. Underneath all of that stony edifice are part of other kindred, internally and externally. The arts melding them together as if there was some supernatural, spiritual, crazy glue. Each of those gargoyles was a Samich, a Nosferatu, and a Gangrel, forced beyond even final death to the service of the Tremere. Those who understand that about them cannot look on them without understanding just how far from the grace of God, Satan, and every other power in the multiverse of understanding, the kindred had fallen. Even the bestial whites look upon the gargoyle and understand, there but for the grace go I. Looking at the gargoyle is the manifestation as to how wrong the kindred in general and the Tremere in specificity of. And you all are in the close proximity. You can smell the stony granite dust wafting off of them as they move. You can hear and feel the weight of their beings as they cordon and begin to take defensive actions against those who would assassinate their lord and master, Prince Smith Johnson. And here's the thing, for those of you with a tactical understanding. Smith Johnson is summoning the power of fire itself. You feel the heat wafting off of him. It is not just a radioactive heat that's going to scald everything. No, it is the spirit of fire and flame itself. And quite perfectly honest, for the kindred, which includes the gargoyle, fire. Even without the accelerant of the high grain, high alcohol liquor that is soaking in the carpet, dribbling down the walls and splattered hither and yither upon the entirety of this suite. Oh, long way round. Short question. What do?
I think, at least for Joji's side of the story, since this thing is seeing his work, and Joji is seeing the ripple in the mirror, he's just gonna kind of be moving slowly towards the mirror with the Boomba in hand, and just, you know, making it deadly clear, just as he's moving. Hey, look, any quick moves on either of our side, and none of us are getting out of here, including your lovely lord, master, whatever the fuck he is to you. I don't think that he can survive this, and I don't think either of you might. You're covered in stone, but whatever. Just chill the fuck out and let them resolve it out there, and whatever comes to be comes to be. And he just kind of trying to keep it occupied and moving towards the mirror. Because if this thing immediately goes to start RKOing him, that's not going to be hot. Or, well, it will be hot for a very brief amount of time.
Good.
You mentioned the RKO, but what about sweet chin music? Would that disarm the bomb?
Absolutely.
So, while you are attempting to barter with the gargoyle, holding the explosive device even closer to the door, i.e. the mirror as well, outside in the main chamber, outside of the restroom, in the main chamber, as God knows what is happening in that restroom. You haven't heard a Hulk smash. You haven't heard anything go boom. You haven't felt the aftershocks of Joji being earthquaked through the floor. So it is anyone's guess as to how the incidents, contusions, abrasions, and horrible beatings are transgressing in the restroom.
Okay.
What is it that you all are doing?
So Annabelle is going to hold on to her quill and start to pray. So Mary, we are in your temple, and we have brought your enemy to you. Or we can bring him to you. One or the other.
Reaching out to Mary and having her choose whether to appear or to potentially find a way to help you escape. You're not deciding which way, right?
Right.
Okay.
I
I
would not
try to get-
think to tell her what to do.
No. Request, yes. Lena, you're saying?
I am going to try to get to my bag, which has my gun in it.
Quickly, slowly, stealthily?
Quickly.
Yay, we like that. Okay, and India?
Yes, definitely checking the mirrors for the difference between heat ripples and actual physical ripples as a way to enact her plan. So which is it?
Does India have craft?
I believe she does. Hold on, I'm just trying to find out for sure. Oh, nope, she does not. There is no dots in craft.
Okay. So the making of the mirror, the craftsmanship that went into it, and the underpinnings of how it came into being and how it comes into being is not something that she would be immediately aware of. She would not know whether it is because of the residual heat, if there's something happening on the other side. Is this just a flaw in the design? She is at a loss. So she can either spend time ascertaining as such, getting close enough to touch and maybe lick the mirror or snort some substance off of it to make sure. But that would be, in fact, what she would be doing. Or she can choose a path
No,
otherwise.
I think that's time for that.
Which,
Are any of the gargoyles between her and the mirror?
yes. The distance that could be covered very quickly is easily within the range of them doing what would effectively be a reaction. And no, not reaction as in one of our more tactical style games, but no, your glass or glasses begins to fall off the table. That quick twitch response is within that reaction. That's what I mean by it would be the distance covered where you all are by all parties that are in this space is a reaction of a time. Like it's okay, I'm gonna move towards, and they move as well. Or they may not move as well, or they may beat you to it. Fate has yet to decide whose corner is throwing shots from this particular evening. So it is one of those where, with everything happening roughly at the same time, what is it that India is doing?
Okay,
It
she's
is
going
a
to
hot.
say that Yuri has their back, and she will make a way out of no way. So she's going to try to grab the prince around the waist and tackle his ass through the mirror. They either both gonna get hurt or they both gonna end up somewhere else.
Okay.
Nice.
India is. All right. So several things are happening at once, as they always do in this particular cluster of events. So we will move alphabetically in regards to the mechanics behind this. As Annabelle holds the quilt, it glowing a very odd, sickly green as she begins murmuring and chanting under her breath. Would you be so kind? And it is in fact contested, so make sure you roll as high as you can with your final roll.
Good.
It is your charisma plus
Persuasion?
persuasion. Roll as high as you can. And while that roll is happening, Joji, would you be so kind as to roll your manipulation plus intimidation as high as you can?
Oh.
Lita, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and athletics as high as you can? And India, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl as high as you can?
I got 8 with our bonus success.
Is that all? You're so close. 2 successes short.
Somebody help me pray!
Let's see. Character display. Character. Joji.
I did the after willpower
I'm
and
effective 3 hunger currently. Plus intimidation. Yeah, the kitten is attempting to intimidate a giant behemoth of an individual. I just want you to know that. Comment. So this is.
I'm assuming awe doesn't work for this.
I don't
No.
have awe. I don't.
I do.
No, it does not.
Yeah, she's not even here. So.
Right.
In your hearts? Or is your heart ever
She-
that far?
My heart.
Oh, that's terrible. It's 2 successes. And I'm hungrier. Don't worry. It'll be fine, guys. The behemoth of stone and rage is just like, I don't even know what a bomb is, buddy. Whatever you're holding, fuck you. You're going down. Why are you attempting to intimidate me with what looks like a stereo set?
No one
Yeah.
listens to 8 tracks anymore, buddy.
The era of floppy disks is over, old man.
Maybe you can free them from their
Free the floppy disks?
pain
So,
via
first things
explosion.
first. First things first. And whatever song comes to mind, go ahead. You guys begin chiming in. We shall take a quick gander at the gargoyles and see what their dice pools are. Das gargoyles. They are protectors.
First pools are 3. I got a sneak peek at the sheet, so I know this is real.
You forgot to update for V5. 3 in DAV20 is equal to 26 dice.
Damn it!
Oh no.
Damn it! Well, I tried, guys.
No, it's a really good. You were really close. You were really, really close. You were so very close. Oh, you guys are good. All right, so now that we have that, let's begin, shall we? First, fate, as it were. Difference of 3 is what you're looking for in this particular role. So, with any luck, you'll be within 3. More than 3, and well, that is a catastrophic failure.
Oh.
I don't like that.
Hey, it's not more than 3.
It is not. Which is a very good thing in your regards, and as far as that portion of the events go, there is a power to faith that can't be denied. There is a demand of attention, focus, and effort that bleeds through the very air. And as far as the restroom,
Oh. Oh, what the fuck is that?
Oh,
go nearly as well. The moving towards the mirror, i.e., closer to the door where his liege lord is very much the old aphorism of waving a red flag before a bull. While we all know now that it's not about the color of the cape that you're waving, it is literally about the motion itself. Those bulls have been poked, provoked, prodded, and stirred into a massive overreaction of aggression. The red of the cape, nothing more than to help attract their attention. It could have been blue, green, yellow, any other color. The red cape is predominantly for the crowds watching this drugged, anger-addled beast be put down. But it's the motion. It's the fact that you're waving the cape. It's the fact that you are a threat. As the matador, as the toreador standing before the bull. And as you attempt to get them to back down, to stay slow, to stay calm, you stir the opposite reaction. That blind, slavish loyalty to their liege lord to protect goes into hyperactivity. What happens next will go down in history, one way or the other.
So, there's not a mirror in the bathroom.
Well, there probably won't be for much longer.
Oh God! Oh God! You know
And
what?
as Lita leaps across the floor, as Lita goes sliding as if she's in a combination of the Matrix and the Island and John Wick all at once, unfortunately, she's not doing so invisibly. Unfortunately, she is doing so very clearly obvious to the protectors of the prince. How they respond? Let's find out, shall we? See.
They're just very excited that they might not have to work for the prince anymore. That's what's happening.
Oh.
Right?
All right. So that Lita goes sliding across the floor. As her knees touch down, her skirt furling around her, catching the small breeze from the AC system, looking absolutely poetic and balletic in how quickly she's able to cover the distance. She equally covers the same amount of distance, though airborne, as the nearest gargoyle football kicks her into the air towards the balcony. She does not make it to her gun. And as India taking the brunt of decisiveness, why go for the peons? Why let them do anything more than stand and watch in your awesomeness? You attempt to tackle the prince into the mirrors. His heated epidermis, the flames beginning to lick the cold, dead flesh of his existence in preparation for what comes next. So unfortunately, there are two counter mechanics happening. The nearest gargoyle, of course, trying to stop and protect, and no, not my baby, not my slave master, not my prince. And the prince, who sees this Amazonian cowgirl princess leaping across the floor as if she is the very revitalization of Wolverine, X-23, and Storm, flying towards him. So first, the gargoyle.
Damn.
The stone weighing a metric half-ton should not be able to fly. They should not be able to glide. They should not be able to move with any semblance of alacrity. They should be slow-moving, sloth-like structures. Yet the moment India leaps, the moment that India attempts to buffalo the prince into the mirror, there's a wall of stone placing themselves between her and he, and with a stiff arm that would go down into the Hall of Fame for every football player who has ever played offense or defense, she is sent flying counter to her intentions. And there's a moment as all of these things are transpiring, happening at once. Everything moving too fast to truly delineate what is happening when. Everything speeding towards a close. Mirrors slide open like doors. The space beyond, you see a lake that looks like the ocean. You see a skyline that doesn't quite make sense. None of the buildings are quite as tall as you expect for a major metropolitan area. They're skyscrapers. They are all above 15 stories, yet they don't quite seem as tall. They somehow seem squatter, colder, afraid of the night sky, huddling together for warmth. There is the scent of yeast in the air. There is a feeling as if cold itself has a personification that is whispering in your ear. And as the mirror slides open, you all partially flying, sliding, being compounded and beat across the floor, expect the image of mirrory that you had come to know. The stylish, well-heeled, svelte and beautiful. But no. What stands in that doorway? What stands in that space between spaces is a being that has been pushed to their limit. They show every ounce of the millennia of time waiting outside of time. They show every scar from all of the many battles hard won. There is a droop and a drop to the skin that signifies that they have existed far too long for even their flesh to uphold under the weight. And everyone knows that gods don't bleed. Everyone knows that there's no power greater. And yet, Mirrory clearly is no god. As across their body, those long, mended scars are joined by fresh wounds, fresh blood, ichor, leaking. In the midst of battle, in the midst of assaulting powers that have held her at bay, in lockstep hatred with a force that has helped to keep her bound to the will of the Tremere, she fled and crossed the several thousand miles to come to your aid in her weakened condition. Over her shoulder. Not that you all have an understanding of who that trickster Tremere is. Not that you all have an understanding as to how much of a rock star in his own right he is. Not that you understand that of all the Tremere and all of the places in all of the world, how dangerous, deadly, and duplicitous he is. But over her shoulder, following her through, is a slick-haired, large-nosed stereotype of a New York Italian mafioso. His clothes bearing the brunt of the battle that they were in, that she is leaving. His seeming bearing the weight of all of the stolen power he has amassed. And you hear as she's moving forward into where you all are, coming to your aid, Calabalarshi calling out, "Don't think you can get away that way. I learned that trick. You're not getting away this time. It's time for you and I to finish what we started. You and all the fucks that tried to kill me." Now, with the understanding of where we all are, those of you who have had the opportunity of fate literally pissing down your neck and telling you that it's summer rain, which you all did know levels of health loss in that exchange.
Sorry, how many levels?
3 levels of health loss.
Oh, okay, sorry. Like it cut the number off in your speech there.
It did. That was the one word that didn't come through.
Yeah, I was like, is it just so much that it got censored? What's happening here? this is for boop 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 Joji. Yay!
Have been cast, but just because something has been decided doesn't mean that that's what happens. You all have the opportunity, you have the option of responding and dealing with what's happening now, and it is a lot. The stakes have never been higher, the costs have never been more extreme, and you all have never been this close to both victory and failing. What is it that you all are doing?
You know what? I'll let everyone resolve their actions, and I'm gonna take this time to consult my sheet and figure out like what the fuck my brain can do. Oh no!
What?
Why the fuck is she impaired? Oh, mentally impaired. Oh, I was so worried there for a second. I'm like, how are you already aggravated? All right, let's see. Do. Yeah. The only hope that I have in this scenario, and since it seems everybody's still thinking about what they want to do, the only hope that I have in this scenario is to just bob and weave until my ass can get out of here, because fuck am I not damaging this thing. I am on full defensive mode, just trying to find an escape. If there is even one available to me at this point, which is, I suppose, something we'll find out. Yeah, so that's what Joji is focused on, getting the hell out.
Did the other Tremere, the new Tremere, did he actually finish coming through the mirror? Like, is he in the room with us, or is he still following her?
And yet, okay, so that's in your room. That is not so. That's a good question, Nobu. Am I even capable of seeing that behind the wall of pain and flesh and stone that is beating my ass like a bongo drum? Nobu?
He's abandoned us forever.
Oh no.
Nope, sorry about that. Independent mute. So as close as Joji is, it would be a smart thing, at least a human consideration of the absence of pain, to separate him from what's in his hand. The gargoyle understands that that's the threat. As long as he's holding the threat, he is less of a threat, because most people understand that the pain hurts. And so you try to do everything you can to minimize pain. So the gargoyle is smart enough to understand in Joji's attempt to escape pain, as long as he's holding whatever that device is, and it's clear that it's going to cause pain, the gargoyle has the upper hand, as long as Joji holds that device. So instead of doing the smart thing and trying to separate them, the gargoyle is effectively using the bomb as a manipulation to help further pound Joji into paste.
Oh. Okay, all right. So thank you for the update. That actually clarifies a few things for me. As for Annabelle's question there,
the distance of Calabalarshi and Mirori is one of an action. So while not physically present in the room, he is close enough to see, view, and be active in the room based on what he decides to do. So presently, he's bringing up the rear and closing off Muri's escape, but he's not physically in the room just yet.
Okay,
The
so
prince has yet to act and is still charging whatever he had intended to do. The gargoyles are doing what gargoyles like to do in order to protect. They protect, they break necks, they break necks to protect. They are applying a concussive correction of assassin tendencies out of you.
so Annabelle is still kind of near the door because I came in with the prince just before all this shit went down. I want to turn off the lights so there's no reflection.
Beautiful attempt. You forget that the prince is literally becoming a Super Saiyan of a Tremere.
That's
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is emanating light.
so he's glowing.
Yeah, he's
Well, it's
Twilight
better than
Vampire.
sparkling.
Oh, brain went same place. And just because my brain is running at 130%, and I'm fucking missing a few details due to my panic here. Is it holding on to the bomb, or is it holding on to me?
Either. It is using concussive force, a pure concussive. I'm going to punch you into next year, and then follow you there, and punch you back into the present.
Oh, okay. All right. I must have gotten confused then, because you mentioned rather than separating it, is using it as a tool through which to hurt.
Yes, the smart thing is to take whatever you're attempting you use to threaten it away from you, but it understands, that could cause pain. He's not going to do something that causes pain to self. Let him hold that. Take this, and that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So, India, Annabelle, Lita, what are you up to?
I think I'm getting hit.
Yeah, like
Yes.
what is your response to getting hit?
Do I need the roll to do toughness?
Whatever.
Well,
No,
you want.
toughness is a passive fortitude ability. It is always active.
Cool.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to try to get away from them and get to my gun.
Okay.
As if
Like a
he
time.
kind of gets skidded across
Mhm.
the floor, instead of getting to her feet, she pulls the gun, aims for the gargoyle that's attacking Joji, and starts fucking emptying the clip into it.
India,
Give me.
So India bounces, pivots, and does a 100% over the top 80s action. Instead of shooting her gun into the sky in frustration, she fires down the hall toward the bathroom to fuck this, everybody goes. India is doing that. Lita bounces and skids and springs from her very prone position to leap forward and hopefully slide just under the gargoyle for them to get to her bag and where her gun is. At that time, Joji is dipping, ducking, dodging, and did we say dodging? As best as he can, the gargoyle in those close quarters restroom, bomb in hand. Muri, having fought the single most offensive Tremere presently in the contiguous U.S., in the midst of a battle that would go down in the record books for one of the ages, is coming to assist the prayers tossed in her direction She is literally facing down two of the premier that lock her away. And while that is in the off, what is it that Annabelle is actually attempting to do? Annabelle is known, Miri, as the first, and staunchest supporter of her being considered worthy of the effort and time. Miri plucked her out of the darkness, literally, to give her the opportunity of doing more than simply existing.
So this is like a giant ass mirror, so there's not really a way to cover it, but I might be able to break it behind her so that he can't follow and he will be trapped.
Trapped in the shadow realm.
Trapped in the... yes. In the realm that he trapped her in. So, this is not going to go well. But yeah, I'm going to basically step in between them and try and break the mirror. Or at least be in the way.
All right. So,
unless with my occult knowledge, which I've studied, if there's a way to help her heal. Like, if I gave her my blood, would it work?
Oh, potentially. There is a potentiality of it working. Unfortunately, what is Annabelle's occult rating?
1, but it's specifically about demons.
Okay. Well, let's see if she has the if she's covered that section of the research. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus occult DC 4? Because there is an obvious downside. Because there is a reflective aspect of demonology and being kindred. There is a need of certain things to happen for kindred and demons to reduce their hunger to 0 in the midst of mending. There is a parallel between the two. Now the question is, has Annabelle reached that point in her research thus far? So first this, then we'll handle the mechanics of the next portion of what's happening. It is a madhouse. You all each in your own way have fought battles both internally and externally that have left their scars on your bodies and your souls. Never before, including when facing the children, including when watching and understanding that one of your own number would betray you and did betray you, whether it was initially just minorly or as major as it turned out. Never before have the stakes been as high and as obvious to you all.
So I got a bestial failure.
Yes. A love between demons and kindred. And there's a commonly understood aphorism of the blood is the life. Though the understanding for Annabelle is that the blood is the faith. It's the belief. It is the slap so Tinkerbell doesn't die. She understands that that is, in fact, the parallel. Unfortunately, even as a therapist, even as a psychologist, even as someone who has spent an inordinate amount of time crawling around her own and others' minds, keeping a train of thought from going off the rail, pouring that much faith and focus into a thing is not impossible, but it very well should be considered as such. Because the moment you start thinking about how to better focus and refine your faith, you see your father. You can hear his voice. And most people would assume that it's something traumatic that he's saying. Most people would assume that it's something horrendous that he's whispering. No. The worst thing is Annabelle sees her father. She feels his presence. She smells his cologne. And unlike every other portion of her life, he's there cheering her on. Come on, Annie. You could do it. That's right. Dig deep. Deep breath in. You could do it. Come on, Annie. I'm here for you. Come on, Annie. You could do it. There we go. Concentrate. I know you can do it. It's okay. Don't give up. You got this. Come on, Annie. But he won't shut up. Unlike in life, he won't stop urging you on towards success. Unlike life, he won't stop focusing on every single second that you're not quite where you want to be. Unlike life, here in this moment, you can hear him cheering you on. He's there in the stands as you give your winning debate speech, your closing argument. He's there as you walk across the stage collecting your diploma. He's there helping you burn the midnight oil to study for your exams. He is there when you take up an interest in a musical instrument that you have no intentions of following through with, but it's something to help with the mind. You understand that musicians have a certain outlook and you want to grab it because it's supposed to help with the cognitive. And so he's there with you. He's there practicing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. He's there cheering you on. Unlike life.
How fucking dare you?
India, sliding across the floor, taking the hit, doing what you are sure, what you are positive, what you've seen in your heart and in your mind more time care to, even knowing he understood, he knew what his decision would cause. He knew the outcome of staying behind to make sure that his men made it out. He understood the true cost of his actions, and yet he did it anyway. And so much in the same light, in the same manner, understanding what it means, because you are prone, you are low-hanging fruit. Everyone else in the open space. And everyone else in the open space are half-ton killing machines. Enslaved by the Tremere. Willing to kill the already dead and to protect them. Sprawled and splayed on the ground as you are, you know that your actions will result but sometimes, just like faith, And the only proof of faith is in it being tested. Sometimes, the only testament to care, consideration, and the fullness of any and every relationship is being willing to be lost to it. Not having it taken away, not having it disappear, not having, you grow apart, but willing to lose everything for it. Everything on the line. Because as long as there's one of you that survives that act of love, that which is simply witnessing another life with no expectations, it's being there for the ups, the downs, and every step in between, and knowing that it puts her at an extreme loss because she can't focus on what's going on out here, she does it anyway. So would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve plus firearm and roll as high as you possibly can. And in the same light, in close proximity and with little or no space to maneuver, doing your absolute best in this lavish bathroom, because before it seemed cavernous. Before this monstrosity blocked the doorway and came to make sure your unlife stopped here like a clock running out of time. It seemed huge. But with this presence there in the doorway and blocking your path and attempting to pound you into nothingness, it's suddenly far smaller. Joji, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and athletics as high as you possibly can?
We will see how this plays out. I am burning the candle on all ends because there is no need to hold back right now.
They certainly aren't. And Lita, speaking of not holding back, bouncing as if you were a skipping stone across the surface of a plastic lake. You bounce back towards your feet. Your weapon, your armament, your cross against the infernal powers, your sidearm, your firearm is there in that bag across the room. You put everything on the line and rush towards it. The pain of your landing still blooming across your skin, across your soul. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and athletics as you dip, duck, dodge, and dive with your bag?
All right, let's see how this goes. Fate casting lots. Fate casting lots. I'm on the wrong server.
Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes dice make me want to cry.
Is it now?
It is now, right now. It is in fact right now.
You're only saying that for a friend, right? Not for yourself.
Yeah, no, I want to cry for a friend. I'm gonna go grab a beer. Oh. What do you want, cat? Man.
Bestial failure. That's gonna be fun.
Hey, look. It wasn't meant to be. We were put here just to suffer. They say
No.
that it's randomly rolled, but we know.
It is. It's randomly rolled. It may not be your day to be the Ran or the Dome.
Oh yeah. This is actually the gargoyle story. Now we're plot devices for their protagonist run.
I mean, session 0, you become gargoyles.
Yeah, session 0. We're the princess gargoyles, boys. Oh dear God.
Oh, why didn't I put the DC? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Look at that. I'm not the only one that can roll poorly.
I switched bots, so that should be help. A little help. And I forgot to put the DC, so it worked out in your favor. Look at that. Look at that.
I forgot to put the DC. It said it's difficulty 4.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh yeah, there it is. Good job. Good eyes. I am blind and standing, so yeah, you gotta burn the energy somewhere. Huh?
Absolutely. Just remember, guys, bad luck is like a wheel. Okay? It crushes
grinds
everybody, but
Yeah.
someone's got to be on the top. Okay.
Why is your DC only a 1 for that? Out of curiosity.
India's laying on the floor of the open space, firing towards the restroom.
Oh yeah, she's...
You got the gargoyle trying to fuck up Joji.
So we're ignoring the successes.
Oh.
Her successes apply to the gargoyle attempting to kick the shit out of Joji.
Oh, these are 2 separate gargoyles.
Yes.
I have zero idea how combat rules work whenever it comes to multicom. I know that it's just hell.
It is. It is. There should be an easy function. Hey, do this.
Okay, that makes sense now. So guard, fuck that. But you shoot. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
It's okay. All you guys need to do is get out of here, and I'll kill 2 Primogen in one go. Well, one of them's immortal for now, but you know what I mean.
only sort of immortal.
Ah, punt, then sweet chin music. You mentioned that at the beginning of this, didn't you?
I
I
mean,
did.
you can be immortal but trapped under a million tons of rock till it runs out.
Or top it, float down gently as everyone else dusting themselves off and pulling themselves out of wreckage or trying to. And you gently float to a stop, very Christ-like, arms outstretched in a T pose. Of course, that would shoot the masquerade right in the, right in the heart, but, some things are worth it. And having your cool moment, some people just can't deny it. Some people can't escape their need for validation from others.
Oh, that's me.
No, that's Murray. And we're going to roll Murray, Calabalarshi, and the Prince's roll in the final round of this scrum, of this everything that's happening. Just so that you all are aware, those who are cognizant enough to glimpse out of the corner of their eye the flickering images of people, things, kindred, and family that you found along the way in this coterie happening. As Joji, by the skin of his teeth, the thigh-sized fist that exists where his head, neck, and shoulders formerly was. Thanking his stars and garters, thanking Miri's presence for offsetting the aim just enough, and wishing that she did it a little bit more than just enough. The sound of a firearm in enclosed space is unmistakable. The gases released when a firearm is discharged in an enclosed space, if you all were living, would instantaneously cause, at least momentarily, the symptoms of tinnitus. Your ears would be ringing, your eyes would be vibrating from the sound waves and the pressure that built up. Luckily for you all, you are dead. At least in body. Its roar of anger changes pitch ever so slightly. That makes it obvious that it is not a roar of anger that is driving it, staggering slightly back from the doorway, Joji. There is pain in its very countenance. And while it doesn't do the normal human reach for the spot of pain, it is clear that it is limping on his right side as it tries to square up. You can tell that it wants to look to see where that came from, but it also doesn't want to take its gaze off of you. So it is instead roaring and yowling its frustration.
Oh, God.
There is a measure of pain. There's an understanding of it that everyone knows. It's like the knowledge of your tongue. Your tongue, when running across the surface of a thing, instinctively knows how it tastes. It puts the taste in your mind. So when it's different, you get that shock. And instinctively, your tongue instinctively knows what something should feel like, even if you've never put it in your mouth before. And when it feels different than your tongue knows that it should, that shock registers in the back of your mind. It's the ick that you can't escape because your tongue knows. So your body understands pain in that same level. You know what being sliced, stabbed, punctured, abraded, scraped should feel like. So as your father is urging you on to success, come on, Annie, come on, baby girl, you got this. That's right. Come on, stay focused. You know what it should feel like being hit, or more actively kicked, by a size 16 stone foot. And yet your mind develops an ick because it doesn't feel anything like that. It doesn't feel like being hit with a solid bit of a wall. It's jagged. And it abrades the chest. It feels as if someone took a Lego and sharpened the nubs on it and decided to hammer it into your chest. That's not how that should feel. You know what hit you. It's that size 16 that kicked you in the chest. But it feels as if there are a score of sharp Legos being ground into the flesh covering your chest and stomach. It feels wrong, and your mind starts concocting ideas and hypotheses. How could that be? Why is that? Is he wearing Legos? Does someone it's just putting one and one together to get three. The one plus the plus sign plus the one. Of course, that's 3 items, but it's still just 1 plus 1. And speaking of 1 plus 1, or 1 for 1, there's an understanding that when 2 persons come together, there's 2 people going in to one relationship, or there are 3 people going into one relationship, or 4 people going into one relationship, and that there will always be 4 persons in that relationship, or 3 people or 2 people, or however many partners are going into that relationship, but that's not what it is. There are a multiplicity of factors in every joining. There's the you you've shown, the you you were, the you hope to be. There's the expectation of you for every one of the partners involved. And then there is the life of the relationship. So the exponential demand on being in the presence and sharing space and time and love and adoration or lust and loathing for every relationship is exponentially higher than assumed. And it requires work on all those parts. The truest example of that work is witnessing the other person, beholding them, risking for them, because they have given you the right, the joy, and the responsibility to feel all of the emotions that are already in you. There's bravery in that vulnerability. And as India risks it all, literally, putting her body on the line for the support of that portion of the relationship of this coterie, she is rewarded with pain. She gets the shot off. It lands. It pierces that rocky granite hide. Luckily, the caliber of her firearm is high enough. Solid slug hits with a force unexpected, causing the gargoyle accosting Joji to yowl in pain, to see its life of service and servitude flickering behind its eyes. She's rewarded for that act of bravery and adoration with pain, unbridled. Half a metric ton crashing down on her prone body. Her bate squished and moved to parts of her she didn't expect it to ever be in. Luckily for her, she is unblushed, so the true bruising and abrasion doesn't show. As a beautiful black cowgirl princess, smooth, silky skin, she's immediately transformed into a zombified version of herself. She's immediately leaned against death's door with the force of that stomp. There's cracks in the floor around her from the concussive force. There's a groaning of the girders that had been used to build this suite beneath her after that stomp, and the gargoyle is raising back to follow through with the next stomp. Every intention of pushing you through into the floor beneath. Lead a part of your mind, the largest part of the conscious forward of your mind, says, "Whee!" Again, until that second blow strikes her as she's going, "Ee!" She feels the vertebrae in her neck crack under the pressure, the newtons of force. She feels her body, her ambulatory corpse, want to shut down. It's the beauty and the curse of being dead. You don't pass out from the pain. It's the beauty and the curse of being kindred, that as long as the animating force of your portion of a soul exists, all you have is your forever. There's never any sleep. There aren't ever any dreams. It is one long, endless reel, compounded by your internal voice screaming. The horrors that you survived, the knowledge you've accumulated, the understanding that there are forces out there in the night that want nothing more than the surcease of any and everything. Mean nothing in this moment for you. Because the pain is real. The escape of that pain, which is the driving factor of every facet of actual life, is impotent in the face of that pain. It is impotent in the face of your curse. You land with a bounce. The creak in your bones, only adding insult to the injury of having that thing put its hands, feet, and ill intentions on you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak even through this my father being
Yes.
okay. Then she has no idea what's going on or what's going to happen, but she just says to Miruri, "We're gonna die, but you don't have to. Take what you need." And she it's like her knowledge of any sort of healing is blood, so she offers her wrist.
Oh. How far is Lita and India separated? I know Lita just went wee.
They are several wingspans of distance apart. And the wingspan that we are applying to are the gargoyles who are present, acting as Secret Service to the Prince, who has been absorbing, tapping into, utilizing the strength of his blood in accordance with the truth behind such places as this. The truth being that it was put here and utilized as a magnifier to those who understood and understand what such places are. There are places of power where elements and ideas are at their apex, at their denier, or at their cross purpose. The intersection of those things. Air and earth, fire, water, hope, depression, suffering, and solace. Places where those strong emotions and elements combined are even more laden with power to be absorbed. Those places are called dragon nests, ley line nexus points. They are places where those who understand the wealth and whims of the supernatural can do impossible things because they dare. This is one of those places. It's one of the reasons why Miruri sent you all here, to make sure that they didn't have access to this place any longer. He is tapping into it, and has been for the longest while, since the apparent assassination attempt was noticed by him. He's been collecting and tapping into and manipulating those forces. And Miruri, in response and reaction to a prayer hurled with the fullness of faith, in the midst of a battle that would design and define what was to come, Because far as it goes, there is no other Tremere who has dared as much, as often, bartering with infernal forces, bartering with fey forces, bartering with those who don't understand any semblance of what the living is, tapping into the strength of the thin blood, tapping into the alliances of the Hakata, utilizing those lupines who are willing to sacrifice and give of themselves for more strength to continue raging and waging war against order. Never before so successfully has a Tremere who has done so very much harm to others been able to hold on to the faith and power of so many different forces. The second closest facsimile of that, of course, being Prince Smith Johnson. Stands that this assassination attempt, while believed to be mundane initially, the moment Miri revealed herself, understood that, well, it is literally do and die. It is literally make sure that nothing remains. Because it took so many immortalities, so many eternities to lock her away before. It took the maintenance of so many kindred being sacrificed and tricked into sacrificing themselves to keep her locked away. He's here. And Calabalarsh might as well be here. For him, this is Gehenna. For him, this is the end of days. And for him, someone who has dared nearly everything and hedge their bets and keeps up with the old ways of blood for the blood god. There's only one way out of here. Kill them all. All of them. Make sure that not one last measure of them. And by the way, for the record, so you all understand who the them is, the them that he's speaking of and thinking of and planning against is everyone who is not him. Everyone, everything. Damn it all. You may lose everything in the process of doing such a relatively stupid act, and you will continue to live. So, when Annabelle's offer blood, without realizing that offer of blood is the offer of everything, it is literally every ounce of her immortality that would be needed to restore Mirrory to a high enough level of wellness be effective in this 2v1 Calabalarshi and Prince Smith Johnson. It is literally an all or nothing. And it is 59 after the hour. Let's take a quick 10 and be back here to find out how much help faith, fate, and fidelity offers the Coterie. Welcome back, everybody. How many of us have made it?
I'm here.
I'm here.
I don't know about made it, but I'm here.
Here is making it. It very much is. It so very much is. There is a value and an estimable value to each of your presences. You all have had the opportunity of living with these characters crawling around the edges of your minds. You all have had the opportunity of getting to know these characters on and in ways we could only dream. And from your imagination, the fruit of your efforts and your belief in these characters' existence, we have had the pleasure of knowing them and understanding them at least superficially. If I were to be completely honest, it would be very easy to say that your time, your efforts, and your energies have been appreciated and valued. And even being completely honest and unbridled, it would not quite ever properly tally up the value of having these moments with you or with these characters in this situation and others. So my thanks.
Absolutely.
And as we prepare to move into the final moments, whatever they hold, one is for you guys. So we're all back?
I just wanted to clear up something. Am I toward or am I like, really rich?
You at full health loss? Because each of these incidents that were lost by dice is a matter of 3 health levels. What is India's total health? Because there was 3, and there's just 3, so that's 6.
I think you'd be at 1 aggravated, but not like gone. Because you've got 2 unhurt and 3 superficial. So 1 ag is what you're looking at.
I've got 5 dice total.
Yeah, see, you'd be looking at 1 ag.
Yeah, this is the most pain that she's been in. This is the most destructive moments that she's had the opportunity of facing. It is a before and an after moment for India. There is that ever present and pressing voice of her beast. That voice that is cowardly and craven and violent and abusive and focused solely on its survival, so that it, as the radioactive nuclear death of every thing in existence, fades into the nothing, it will have the last laugh. It will drink the last drop. It will embrace the darkness as friend, that long lost lover. The beast is focused solely on its survival. The rest of the world, the rest of the worlds, the rest of the universe, the galaxy, the cosmos can burn out, flame out, as long as it has its pound of flesh, as long as it's able to consume life. So it is crawling and screaming and attempting to break free of the jail cell that is your undead ambulatory corpse. It is demanding that you leave this situation. There's no one here worth it. There's no one here. There's no one in existence worthy and worth this pain. Escape. Live to fight another night. Persist to burn it all down. GTFO and then some. That's what the beast is crawling around the back edges of your mind saying. That's what the beast tearing, spreading, and attempting to dig an escape tunnel through your heart into the ether is saying, is demanding. And while India hears it, perhaps a little bit more because of the pain that she's experiencing, she is not the only one who is hearing that voice, that demand, that fuck everything and run. The beast isn't here for this bullshit. The beast knows that as long as you persist, as long as you exist, there is hope and a chance to drain everything. There is a hope and a chance to burn it all down. The question is, and the one question that resounds for every kindred present, do you give in to the beast's demands of self-survival at every cost?
I'm very interested in your guys' decisions.
I have to stay.
Alright, so that's a no from her.
I was gonna say, take it. This is a yes or no.
Yes.
No.
No. She's not gonna lay still and let it step on her again, but she is not going to give in to her beast.
But the gargoyle is pretty hot. Don't you want it to step on you? Don't you want it to walk on you, mommy?
Well, when you put it like
that. As far as gargoyles go, it is, it is an absolute dommy mommy muscle goddess. As far as such things go. Amongst gargoyles, it's a real catch. So what it is, adult-minded and soul crushed by its slavish devotion to the Tremere. So what if it has the personality of a flaming rock shoved into some orifice that should only work as an exit? So what that its idea of a love language is head-butting someone through their soul. All of those are good things as far as gargoyles are concerned. None of those really matter as far as, outside of being a gargoyle, of course. Everybody has their hobbies.
Okay. If India had gone the route of just choosing survival, I would be able to, guilt-free. But Joji is, unfortunately, at the very core of his being, completely opposed to being a coward.
Well, like I said, if we're gonna go together, but like she's not gonna let him step on her again. She plans on getting from underfoot, but what happens after that, we don't know.
Yeah, Joji's intention is to get him and India the fuck out.
Yeah, so the question isn't like, are you going to lay there and take it? It's, are you going to try and get the fuck away or stay and fight? If I'm correct.
So, with the resounding no, you will not give in to that darkness in the heart of every living thing. The compunction to survive to persist, to look out for self, is in every living and unliving thing. It is a drive imperative on a cellular level. It is a hard clarion call to not be swayed by. But, and to approximate the chaos, the frenetic activity, the weight of so many forces at play, you all have the opportunity to truly decide the outcome of what happens next in a way that I'm sure none of you have actively considered. What we are going to do to approximate this last final round of frenetic happenings. Take a quick look at your character sheet. And find your best skill, just the skill, and how you might apply it with the stakes as high as they are. Then you will list the total dots of that skill, which will be rolled in support of and with the aid of Murray in contention to the forces aligned against her and you in this moment. The outcome solely in the hand of fate.
My best skill is persuasion, and I'm going to use it to pray.
My best skill is animalkin, and I remember that bird that India made friends with at Joju's house. And I would like to say that it's been kind of keeping an eye on her this whole time. So now it has a whole bunch of friends, and them birds gonna come flying through the balcony just like the gargoyles did and fuck shit up.
Nice.
Yeah, so, alright, you go ahead, Lita.
Alright, my best skills are tied between occult awareness and firearms, but I think I'm going to go with occult. And actually, no, awareness, and I'm going to try to find a way out of here.
My highest skill is tech. I kind of already put it to work with the Boomba, but if I use the Boomba, we all fucking die.
Not if Lyda's escape plan works.
Alright. Then in this last burst of activity, I'll try to put even like a few second delay on the detonation, and I imagine that the prince is closer to the door than everybody else, given that he immediately was like, what the fuck is this? So, I suppose I'll yeet the bomb that away and start running towards the balcony window. You know,
Guys, total dice of those skills in the Fate Casting Lots channel, and we have our dice pool for mirroring versus the dice pool for the Tribune.
basically just putting Rush Job to its absolute red line limit. Alright, so, Lito, what are the dots on your occult? There we go.
All right.
Okay.
So here's the question: first or second row for mirroring?
I mean, first is initiator, right?
Yeah.
No.
Damn it.
I'm gonna go with second.
Yes,
Alright.
I do.
India
Oh,
suggests
second?
second.
Alright, fuck it. We ball. Second.
Sure.
So,
I want to see our doom before it happens, not after.
Jesus Christ.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Oh, I had to look at it. Oh.
That's a lot of dice.
I mean, it's you gotta imagine, it's the best skill of each of those entities, and each of those entities is pretty high up on the fuck you pole. Us being behind them by as little as we are is actually just insane on our part.
But Mirrori's not gonna have that hunger.
We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Honestly, it's the situation is definitely resolved one way or another.
Yeah.
The fact that it took them a critical to roll just 50% of their potential successes is funny to me.
oh, there is a small message.
Oh. Is it about my car insurance?
Yes. Okay.
Reroll.
Still a fail. Still a fail. Such is life. I mean, look, kids. We've seen what the dice has been doing to us tonight. We knew what was coming. Also, I think it's only fair if we get a reroll that they get a reroll.
No.
Not. It doesn't quite work that way. And there's only one reason why it doesn't quite work that way.
Oh.
So in the frenetic exchange, Annabelle literally giving everything down to the last drop. As Miri supped as she fought. As Lita believed that the only way out was the way that Miri entered. As the bomb goes off, having covered half the distance to the prince from the restroom, from the bathroom where Joji was. With the birds, a flock of corvids and their associates who have entered in protection India and the Coterie. Settles in the way that dust tends to, or as the old saying goes, water rises to its own level. Many ways that people die, and there's only one for gods when they are forgotten. their worship bastardized, absorbed into the catalog of another god. Their worship co-opted, syncretized. And that's the way that this coterie goes out. Syncretized with their god, their demon. The top floor of the casino. Looking very much as what it was. A site of an explosion. For the next few years, there'll be people talking about, I was at that casino when that happened. There were all that. And where were you when it happened? I woke up because I heard something that sounded like thunder, and I looked into the sky, and the whole of the Tower of Babel, that casino was just like a torch. The orange light of that flame could be seen clear across the county. The local media outlets calling it an act of domestic terrorism. Police investigating the rubble in accordance with the federal bureaus involved, ATF, FBI, all of the favorite letters when it comes to such things. With a failure of 2. Two of you all can make it through the mirror. And those 2 potential choices are either India, Joji, or Lita. Annabelle slips into the forever in the embrace of mirroring, as her blood giving the last drop allows Miri just enough strength to allow 2 of you to slip through into Milwaukee, where she was fighting Calabalarshi, where the portal is still open, where the opportunity for escape still exists. 2 of you.
All right. I have an unfair. Sorry. I have a completely fair, completely without guilt way of deciding this. Let's go ahead. We'll just roll a singular D10 on the top results. Get through the mirror. Oh no, Lita, you can't do this. All right, we're just waiting on India now.
She's not leaving, Joji.
Come on, Indy. Come on, Indy. Oh, you've got this. Just roll the die. I love that the first die that was rolled was a nice middle ground point.
5.
Over the under.
Absolutely.
As the world burns and the sky is lit as if it's noon on a average business Tuesday.
The bot does not want me to roll. It really is giving me a hard time.
You want me to just roll one for you?
Yeah, that's probably best because it's not gonna let me roll. It's like, nope.
All right, let's see how this plays out. Yeah, baby! Yeah, baby! All right, so Nobu, I'll just go ahead and put in open chat my suggestion for how this plays out. There we go. Now I'm gonna go grab another beer while I listen to this resolution.
Time is something that the immortals deal with in a way that the living do not. Living all of forever gives you a certain vantage point. It drives home the value of things that matter and steals the value of things that don't. Persisting and existing and watching the passing of someone else's existence is a pain that they grow accustomed to. Thing they get acclimated to. It is their new constant normal. Everything else but them will fade away. So presented with the opportunity of death, presented with the opportunity of the end of things, it is not an easy decision on their part. And most times it comes like a thief in the night, even for these immortal creatures. As the world erupts in pain and fire, Annabelle cradled and loved like she has never been and never will be again. Her lash dropped, giving Murray just enough strength, just enough force of will and worship to hold the door aloft between the here and there where she fled to come and assist this coterie in their moment of greatest need. That last drop slipping from Annabelle into Murray's waiting, needful maw, being the deciding factor in holding aloft the doorway. Scrabbling and dodging, taking the beatings and pain of the gargoyles and the fire hurled around them, the explosive force knocking them to their knees and forcing them to scrabble along the floor. Lita falls through her skeletal form, coated in the soot and dust, the debris of her once future coterie. Escape. The beast and her joined in a mission of escape. Because as long as one of you all escape, then you all have effectively escaped as well, because you won't be forgotten. The measure and value of your presence is carried forward into the future. And as you all fight through the falling rafters, the roof caving in around you, taking one gargoyle, then you see Calabalarshi and Prince Smith Johnson closing on Murray and Annabelle. Their intentions clear. Nothing lives. No one lives. None of you all making it to tomorrow. Joji and India scrabbling along the floor, torn between rushing back to help Annabelle or living to see tomorrow night, wherever that is on the other side of the mirror. And in a burst of maliciously childful glee, all for love, all for the opportunity of being witnessed and seen, to be appreciated, all for the ghost of love's past that drove him forward. He pushes India through as the mirror solidifies in shards of broken hope and faith, her falling back into the cold coolness on the other side of the mirror. As the mirror closes, shard flaking away and falling off the walls, you see Yoji smiling, turning towards Calabalarshi and Prince Smith Johnson as they close on Murray and Annabelle. And as the battle takes place, and the Bethany is bled, stolen, corroded, goes dark with the final chip falling off the wall. India and Lita looking at the Pabst mansion in downtown Milwaukee, and the night sky above their head filled with stars brighter and darker than any they'd seen before, knowing that somewhere out there in the night, somewhere exactly Shreveport, hell came to the casino and gambled with everybody else's money and left a very rich being. It is 41 after the hour, and as India and Lita look at their night sky, go out for a lovely episode.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
That was dramatic.
I told you we'd be going out with a bang.
You and me, baby.